So for many survivors, if they're single or in a relationship, finding a way back to access and enjoy a sexual dimension in life is really, really important, but confusing. And there are a few options here. The first step, I think, is open conversation between survivors and those who support them to get sexuality put back on the map for survivors, and to talk about very difficult, confusing experiences. I mentioned in the last clip about the impact of the brain injury physically, cognitively, emotionally on sexual functioning, but it can also lead to quite profound changes in sexual identity. So changes in sensitivity, for example, changes in self-identity can really have a profound effect on sexual orientation, sexual needs for survivors. And there's really difficult conversations to have. So access to experts in sexual health and sexual relationships to support the new journeys and steps that survivors may want to take to access that sexual dimension in their life is really, really important. For many survivors, the role of sexual therapists, even sex workers, escorts may be an important dimension, and obviously this depends on the legality of those professions in your respective countries. But for many survivors, knowing that they're paying someone for a sexual experience can be a more secure situation than dating, for example, in that both parties in that encounter know what's wanted and expected, and so that can be a more predictable scenario than negotiating the minefields of initially meeting a date, negotiating dating websites of online dating resources, picking up on social cues of someone who may not be interested in a sexual encounter. Those can be confusing experiences. So many people I support access the services of escorts or similar professions who have experience in supporting sexuality for people with disabilities. Other sources of support may be there's a big world of disability sexuality resources. So an internet search you'll find lots of providers of sexual aids with people with different disabilities in mind. And it's actually a very powerful, empowered world of disability, sexuality rights. And there's an image I'm going to just bring up now in the video that shows how, if you think about the traditional view of what sex is, heterosexual penetrative sex, it excludes the most people. But if you broaden that view out to different aspects of sexual expression and encounter, through different types of sexual connection in person or digitally or remotely, to expression of sexuality through literature or poetry, it includes a greater number of people, a greater diversity of people regardless of ability or orientation. So reclaiming sexuality in one's life following a brain injury may be a whole journey of opening up expectations of what sex is, and expectations and assumptions of what is normal for sexual expression. So it could be an exciting new chapter if that conversation's allowed to happen. For couples, supporting sexuality is an important aspect of couple support following brain injury, and as I mentioned previously, that may be interconnected with supporting emotional disconnection or conflict in the couple's relationship, and that's intertwined.